Join me as I make a simple French bread. Welcome to White Shadow Fare. Make it homemade and make it with love. In your mixer, add 2½ cups of warm water. Two tablespoons of sugar or honey. Give that a good mix to melt the sugar or honey. Now make sure that your water is under 110 degrees Fahrenheit so that your yeast does not get harmed, and add 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. You're going to let this bloom for 5 minutes. And here you can see it beginning to bloom. Your yeast will become kind of frothy on top. Two tablespoons olive oil. In total, you're going to have 5 to 6 cups of flour, but you're going to start by adding 2 cups of flour to begin with, and 2 teaspoons salt. Now, because I didn't use bread flour, I used all-purpose flour, I am adding 3 tablespoons vital wheat gluten. But if you use a bread flour, you don't need to add that extra gluten. Slowly add more flour. And keep adding your flour. Scrape down the sides of the bowl or mixer as needed. And you're looking for this to come off the sides of the bowl. Continue adding flour until that begins to happen. Now that the dough is clearing the sides of the mixing bowl, it is time to start adding the flour, tablespoon at a time, until you get it to the right consistency. You can stop and feel your dough. That's the best way to know if you have it correctly. If you can touch your dough and you don't get your fingers all filled with dough, then you know that you have enough flour added. It should be slightly sticky, but still not sticking to your fingers. Now, once you get enough flour added to your mixture, you're going to knead this for 5 minutes. I keep my dough right in my mixing bowl and put a lid on it, but you can take it out and put it into a lightly oiled regular bowl, but either way you need it to have a cover. So here you can see I'm touching the dough and it's not sticking to my fingers, so it's perfect. So you can form it into a ball with your hands, or I just use a spatula. It should have doubled in size after 30 to 45 minutes. You're going to turn this out and you're going to divide your dough into 2 or 3 pieces. All right, use a little bit of flour, not too much, just to help you work the dough. I like to weigh mine and get them as equal as possible, but you can just eyeball it. And this bread freezes really well, so you can just stick it in the freezer and pull it out and let it thaw for any evening that you need bread as a side dish. Form it into a large rectangle, which you are going to then roll up and tuck the ends under. And once you have it formed into a log, I like to roll it back and forth a little bit just to get the edges to stick. And just repeat this process. Bread is so easy to make, and there is nothing that smells any better than fresh bread at your house. So even though you don't have time to do this maybe every night of the week, certainly once a week, making some sort of fresh bread for a special meal at home would impress everybody. Now, you can put this on a parchment-lined baking sheet and just stick them on the sheet side by side, leaving a couple of inches in between. I have a special French bread pan that I'm putting it in, but either way you're going to cover it and let it sit for 45 minutes to an hour. And then go ahead and preheat your oven to 425 degrees. And while that is happening, you're going to make an egg wash. That's just 1 egg and a little splash of water. This just adds a little extra shine to the outside of your bread. You don't have to do an egg wash. And an egg wash is great if you want to add any seeds to the top of your dough. Brush this on. You don't need much. All right, it's looking good, so I'm going to go ahead and score with 3 to 4 slices per loaf, and this just allows the bread to expand. So at the last minute here, I decided to add some sesame seeds to one of the loaves. Bake this for 20 minutes, and when it comes out of the oven, I always like to take the temperature of my bread. So I just stick the thermometer in the center of the bread, and you're looking for it to be above 190 degrees Fahrenheit. If it's above that temperature, it is done, and go ahead and place it on a cooling rack. Once it has cooled mostly, sometimes it's hard to wait that long, go ahead and slice and enjoy this. If you haven't already done so, please like, I'd really appreciate that, and go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done that as well. I hope you'll give this recipe a try. This is absolutely amazing. Thank you for joining me here at White Shadow Fare.